This is the first working session of the ASPO VII. We have as speakers Edward Schreier, Luís de Souza, Andrew McKillop. I am not developing much on their curricula, their biographies. They are on the book that has been provided by the organization of ASPO Spain. But to start with, and at the request of the organization of this conference, I invite Stefan Hamilton-Bergin, that is somewhere in the room, that is a philosopher, that will give us a short 5 minutes prelude to the working session. Just a moment.
Good afternoon, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to blame this man over here, Colin Campbell. You all know him. He's the one that got me into this subject. And for the last 10 years, I've thought about nothing else. Very briefly, I'm what do you call a spiritual economic futurologist. I'll leave you to digest that one. It basically means that I spend my entire time thinking how we can create a new economic system built on some different principles. 4 or 5 years ago, I published a series of books called The Number 19 Bus. And they were all about what the world might look like in 2007, 2008. So 5 years ago, this is what I wrote. So I have got 5 minutes. Have I got 4 minutes left? Roughly? 4 minutes. I really promise you I'll be quick. So this is what I wrote. Actually, I wrote it 7 years ago, but it takes several years to get published. In 2007, the world stands on the threshold of imminent transformation. It remains to be seen, indeed, in part, it remains up to you to see if we can rewrite the plot in time and avoid catastrophe. The government debt was spiralling out of control, and the special patriotic war issue of government treasury bills was undersubscribed. The price of some goods, especially cars, had collapsed, but there was massive and extreme inflation for everyday essentials. The devastation to the infrastructure of business had been incalculable. The Dow had sunk to 5,000 points. Most company stocks were worthless, and dozens of major industrial companies were operating under Chapter 11A bankruptcy laws. From time to time, the president was still being wheeled out onto his podium. He tried to give the great rallying speeches, "America will rebuild, this is only temporary, this great country will not be defeated by a bunch of homicidal maniacs." The capitalist system was in acute danger of self-destruction. World trade had been dealt a body blow from which it was hard to recover. Right across the length and breadth of America, tens of thousands of sports utility vehicles lay unusable in garages and streets. 2 minutes? 1 minute? Her flat, which at the peak of the market early in 2003 had been worth over £1 million, was, still worth 600,000. Dolly no longer remembered how many times she had remortgaged it. She could no longer remember what Daddy had paid for it. But Dolly was bright. She was, after all, an investment banker. A clever, trendy young city professional fully in control of her life and career. Her company, Grab 'em in Gold in Sachs, were not going to be paying her any more bonuses. Trade volume in stocks and from the bond market had been severely depressed all year. The dollar was sinking forever lower. Dolly's American clients were getting more and more worried. The stock exchange had started another downward spiral. Now it was up and down like a yo-yo. Confidence amongst bankers, investors and brokers was at rock bottom. Stock exchanges in both New York and London gyrated violently, but always ended their gyrations a little lower than where they'd started. Everyone was wondering when inflation was going to come to end and real deflation would begin, but that was the difficulty with the economy. For the past 4 years, from 2003 to early 2007, the economy hadn't seemed to know what to do with itself, up or down, inflation or deflation. Houses prices were now tumbling. Food prices, on the other hand, were going up. The fuel crisis had made lots of things more expensive, but... Thank you.